Welcome back to the Colne Valley Postal History Museum. In this episode, I thought we'd take a closer look at some of the post office badges in the collection. So they're in this case, or at least the majority of them are. There are a few others dotted around, but let's start with these. The earliest ones are the scroll GPO lettering up here in gold, and these would have been both epaulette badges and also fixed to the old shako hats that the postman wore. And they date back to the Victorian period, but they were still in use after the First World War, at which point they went to these rather large badges here that you can see. And we've actually got a slightly better one. If I just bring it up here. If I bring that one up, you can see that it should have blue enamel with a sort of pale buff background. This one's got just one tiny little bit of blue left on it. Nearly all the enamel's come off that one, but this is a better example. Next to it is the classic 1930s badge, which would have appeared on the shako hat. It's obviously quite large. It's too big to fit on the brimmed one. But they were certainly in use up to the Second World War. And the numbers are allocated to individual posties. So that's their license number. It shows that they're a proper post office employee and they're licensed to carry mail and to deliver it. And then below we've got some later ones. The 1960s ones at the bottom for Cambridge and Bournemouth are black. And then the 1970s ones, we've got Cambridge and Inverness of all places here, in red with gold. And then one here, the Swindon one, which is red at the top, gold in the middle and blue at the bottom. That's for a postman higher grade. So if you got promoted to a PhD, then you got a special badge. We've then got some even later ones here, which are screen printed for Cambridge and Birmingham. Obviously, Cambridge gave you both your first and second name, whereas Birmingham, you only got George. Look, just I'm sure there was more than one George in Birmingham, but it wasn't going to be shown on the badge. Moving across, we've got a much bigger one over here, and that is for a transport manager. Excuse me, hay fever getting to me now. Dave was a transport manager over at Harlow. That's his office, basically his office name badge. Below that, Gemma was a customer advisor at the post office in Halstead. So that is a post office counters badge of the pretty much the current type. And then below it is an earlier one for a sub postmaster, Ian Warren. Below that, we've got some cap badges for cleaners and doormen. We've also got some other coloured ones over here, and I've never really managed to work out what these are, what they actually indicate. There's very little information out there on the internet about what the different colours mean, unfortunately. I'd really like to know. We talked about postman higher grade over here. You can see two epaulette badges here, one with the Tudor crown, one with the Elizabeth II crown of St Edward. These are a PhD epaulettes, which would have fitted onto their uniform. There's a doorman epaulette there, which would have been sewn onto his coat. We've got some long service badges here. And then we've got the introduction of the new Royal Mail cruciform logo there, with a very nice badge. The Robertson's Golly, dressed as a postman above it. Above that, this thing that looks like it ought to be medical is actually the entwined snakes, is the Union of Postal Workers, UPW. Which became part of the Communication Workers Union. And then we've got some more coloured ID badges, another dark blue one there. Coming down, we've got a Post Office Savings Bank button badge. And below that, a Welsh and English Post Office just general ID badge for an employee, probably in an office. This one, the Post Office Executive College Cardiff, that's obviously a name badge if you were attending a course. Your name would have been slotted in there. Below that, we've got a stamp bug, which was the post office's attempt to get young people to collect stamps again. It says collect British stamps on it. Next to that, of course, Postman Pat, a little series of 4. These are official Royal Mail ones promoting Postman Pat. Next to that, a Post Office Tower button badge from when it opened and you could go up it. If the kids went up the tower, they got the button badge, or they could buy the button badge, certainly. And then some general advertising ones. One for BT telemessaging. One for POCO, the postcode elephant, with use your postcode on. A general we can help you one, not quite sure what that is. Presumably have the name across there. And then get the most from your post. So that's just a selection of some of the badges we've got in here. We've also got 2 military cap badges just to round off. These are both from the Post Office Rifles. During the First World War, the Post Office raised a number of divisions of rifles, and they served with distinction in the First World War. They have 2 VCs between them, and their very proud record can be viewed at the Postal Museum in London. So that's just a quick intro to the badge collection.